Hello, welcome to my multidimensional living room. I will be making another energy painting where I'm going to be tuning into the energy field of people watching this video across time and space. Energies that I pick up on, I will be putting into the painting. To be honest, I've been holding myself back from making this video for 2 days now because it was my birthday and I had other things to do. But the energies that wanted to express themselves through this painting, they're basically banging on my door, so to speak. So since they have been around in my energy field for the past 48 hours or so, I pretty much know what they're about and what they're gonna be. I just have to put them here so that I can continue going for a walk without them being like, when are you gonna paint us? So, if something resonates with you, if something helps you orient yourself, if something helps you ground yourself, if something helps you understand yourself, if something helps you navigate your living experience, then great, that's the point. And if something doesn't speak to you, if something doesn't sit well with you, then it's probably for or from somebody else. So you can just let it go. That's it. Okay. Yeah, it was my birthday yesterday. So in the last video that I did, you probably could pick up some anti-Scorpionic vibes, and in this video I can let you know proudly that I'm a Scorpio myself. So, let's begin. Okay. Whew. All right. So what you see here is a triangle, and that triangle is a space in quantum realm, in time space, and above time and space, in another realm reality, where I see somebody, actually multiple somebodies, but each of them or each of you individually, each of you, it's your standpoint, it's where you are, non-physically speaking. That's the standpoint of your own unique understanding, your own unique vocabulary, language, cultural background, your own unique standpoint, your own unique way of relating to things, your own unique problems, your own unique solutions, your own unique inspirations, your own unique makeup. That's where you stand. And in this point in time from where I am doing this painting, linearly speaking, but that's not even correct because I'm just doing this right now, but you could be relating to this at any point. I see you having radical, subtle realizations. Radical because 5, 10, 20, 50 years ago, those realizations would be very slow burn process. They would be in the air but not fully grounded, in your body but not fully outspoken, known but not realized. They would be very, oh God, what is this? This is very specific. Okay, bear with me. Because it's interesting. If you're from Balkan, or if you have any kind of Balkan relation to culture there, you know that there are this, we call it chipka, I think it's called lace, that used to be created for as a tablecloth. Yeah, and you would just put it on top of an object to be there. And now I see that same thing, lace, being interwoven into the air, where you can't fully use it, because when the lace is the name lace. If not, then I'm gonna put the correct translation onto the screen, but for now I'm gonna use the lace, or chipka. If it's interwoven into the air, it's flying in the air, it's not physical, it's like you can't really do much with it. It's there, but it's kind of like not there. So that's just a visual representation of how I see those realizations happening in the past. But now they are radical because they happened. You can't deny them. They are so clear cut, they're so crystal clear in your field. The way you see them, the way you understand them. You see where they come from, why they're there. But at the same time, they're very subtle. Subtle in terms of they are just a layer of a reality. They are not reality itself. They don't have the power of absolutely shifting everything. They might have. But they also fall into the category of personal, intimate, something that is for you only, or something at least that you wouldn't bring as a topic of conversation with your friends while having a coffee outside. It's not something that you would talk about unless you have a really good connection with maybe one or two individuals who have capacity or the level of intimacy where these conversations would be applicable and appropriate. It is something that is an integral part of you, but it's not out there in public. It's not something you talk about just to anybody. And now for the example. This example is going to be very literal to some of you, very literal. And for some other of you, this example is going to be very metaphorical. For those of you that is metaphorical, pay attention to what comes into your mind and what comes into your body as I speak about it, as you listen to it. It's kind of like a template that I'm offering to you that you can see your reality through. It's kind of a Tetris piece. And see if it fits, see if it tells you something. Or if it doesn't, don't bother trying. If you understand, you will understand. And those of you to whom I'm speaking literally, if you know, you'll know. It's about red triangles and red colorful geometric shapes. Red colorful, because what I mean by red colorful, they're mostly red, but they can appear in other colors too. And they're very different, so they can be circles. Do you see some of them behind me? Can be circles, can be squares, can be different geometric shapes that happen in your reality. Across time and space, maybe even through the entire lifetime. And you see them, you're able to perceive them. Maybe you're able to interact with them. But I see somebody having this experience throughout their life, not denying it, but also not understanding it, and not having a clear feedback from those shapes. What do they want? What do they mean? Why are they there? Why do you see them? But also nobody around you. There was no information source that spoke to you directly about it. So it was kind of a mystery in the air. And that was exactly what it was. It was a mystery in the air. I see somebody being in the circle of, it was a loop, but it's a closed circle because it used to be a spiral, but now it came to the finish point. And the finish point is your standpoint when you stepped out from being in the loop of that circle into stepping outside and seeing it from the outside. While you were inside, you might have even rejected, refused to collaborate with, refused to communicate with, ignored. And you didn't do that intentionally. But there was a level of resistance to the shapes. And now as the circle closed and you're outside of it, you are able to see why those shapes were there in the first place, and you are able to see now why you have resisted them. It's not that you did anything wrong by resisting them, but now you see the reason why you were not able to go along as these shapes were presented to you in your life. I see the point of realization, and that point of realization also ties up with the radical realizations, radical subtle realizations that you have about your life. I see somebody standing in this point very still and just observing and knowing happening simultaneously. You're just knowing things that you didn't know before. And you observe yourself, it happening through you and for you and as you, through you. I'm also seeing this infinity loop playing out through you, outside of you, where you might also be observing from this point. You have ability to observe life happening outside of you as it's happening inside of you. And this infinity point stops. I see the middle point of the infinity sign being in your eye, and the eye is you. I have a video called The Eye of the Storm is You. It's the worst video that I've done in terms of where did I place the camera. I had so not enough energy to care about the composition of the video. I just had to let it out as it was in that moment. So please excuse me for the placement of the camera, but you know what I mean. And I'm a little bit resistant to saying things are falling into place, because ultimately they are. But this is not about that. This is not about hope. And I'm coming to the other side of this triangle, and that is certainty. That I see that used to be in place, maybe as close as this summer, a few months ago. There was a level of certainty that appeared to be so set in stone that it was able to save your life in a moment when you needed it. It was able to carry you through, even if you didn't see it. If this certainty happened in a longer period of time, ages ago, it was a type of a certainty that was just fueling your life energy without you being clearly able to see it clearly, but you felt it. It was guiding you, it was playing through you without you knowing. It was powerful. It was like a perpetual force that was moving you forward. And coming back into a few months back, that certainty seemed so set in stone. When you were interacting with that certainty, life made sense. or at least it gave you a taste of what is life when life makes sense. And now it's not that you lost the certainty. It's not that you are uncertain about it. It's not that you have doubts. It's not that you have disbelief. It's not that you don't believe anymore in the same way that you did. It's not that you are discouraged. It's not that you lack something in order to merge with that certainty. It's that you can't hold on to it anymore. And it's not even about the grip of holding on to for it. It's not about how strong your muscles are to keep holding on for it. It's not about that. If it ever was about the strength of your character, or if the strength of your belief, the strength of your muscles, the strength of your physical body, the strength of your health, the strength of your conviction, the strength of your discernment, the strength of your direction, the strength of your choice, the strength of your willpower, if it ever was about that, now that's slowly starting to disintegrate. Or it has disintegrated already. And you're being left in this field of ultimate super liminality. Ultimate liminality. Where you just are. You're just being. You can't grab and latch and cope in the same way that you did before. And I'm feeling I'm speaking to somebody who is, your life is not even about coping. If coping was, I'm now directed at one specific individual. It's not about coping, because coping is something that you transcended already. The earthly forms of coping is not something that you can be held guilty for. This is more the coping that goes into the future. It is applicable to more than just one individual, but I'm looking at that one specific somebody who's standing in this field where it's about gripping for the future. It's like when you go through the death and rebirth process, the rebirth of you knowing where you're going, who you're becoming, what you're doing. It used to be this motion of you from the present moment going into the future, grabbing onto the future like a wave and then coming back. Not even that is possible at this point in time. I see plain space with pure nothingness around you, and you're just levitating in the middle of it. That's the space of, I highly recommend playing the game Superliminal. There is the level 8, I believe. You have to play the game to actually see what I talk about, what I mean. There is a level where there is a room, and it's a white space with windows and doors. And you might think and feel that you are in a closed space and that the only place where you can go is through the door. And you can come to the window and look outside of it. That might be your initial response when you come in contact with the game, when you place yourself in the space where you believe that you are. It seems like you just have an outline of a space. There is not even an outline. There are just windows and the door, and the rest is just blank. And you might carry the blueprint, the signature of being in physical spaces. And you may act accordingly, thinking that window is something that you look through. Maybe you open, but you can't open it. And doors are something you pass through. But in this game, you also have an experience, you have a possibility of walking through this wall that doesn't even exist and looking through the window from the outside in. It's the space where, in the game, there is also that space where you are in the pure white space, navigated towards a black staircase. And then when you come to the black staircase, you realize that the black staircase is just a picture. It's two-dimensional. You can't climb that space. Unless you move yourself in relation to the picture so that you come in front of it. And then the space opens. And then you can walk on top of it. But seen from here, that's totally impossible. It's like opening three-dimensional space from two-dimensional space. And then walking up. That's where I see you being. And in this space, it's not about discipline, it's not about habits, it's not about cultural imprints, it's not about work, it's not about what you do, it's about your presence. And your awareness of your presence has way much more potency than anything that you've been doing through life ever before. The practiced routine, the discipline, the creation or destruction of habits, the practicing and strengthening of your belief, the mental diets, the nutritional diets, the exercises of anything, physical exercises or exercises of your free will, everything kind of dissolves into ashes. And your being is all that is. And from this space, literally everything is possible. I don't want to give you any false hopes in terms of, oh, I see good things coming to you. Everything is possible. Everything. Every move you make from that space can lead you anywhere. In all infinite possibilities of what that actually means. So if you've been working on something, this is not just to say, like, yeah, your work will pay off. Yeah, you'll get that opportunity. Yeah, that love of the life that you were promised when you started healing, yeah, they're coming to you. No. But it's also not no. It's no, and it's a no, and it's a yes. And it's a yes, yes, and it's a no, and it's a yes, no, and it's all of it. All of it, like literally everything. And the only thing that you can grasp on that is available to you is not anything outside. It's not the possibility materializing itself. It's not the hope. It's not the certainty and knowing. It's not the discouragement from seeing that certainty isn't set in stone, that now you're discouraged again. It's none of that. It's just your presence alone. I'm also getting strongly the experiences that might be now playing out, where you can clearly see, again, I'm seeing the infinity loop, but going across linear time. And it's very clear, it's very evident, and I'm picking up on this happening collectively, and I'm going to use my own personal example of that. Will I use my personal example for that? Do I have to? I don't have to use it. But I'm in this group too. I'm in this experience too. And that is that something might have happened when you were 14 years old, and it required your future self to come and step into that space and time in this physical reality. So your future self came and filled the role. You might have needed to grow up a little bit faster, and so your future self came and took that role for you. And now when you reached, in a linear fashion, this future self, you get the retrieved 14-year-old from the past. That 14-year-old that would have been there if you, as the consciousness, if you were not forced to grow up quickly, you would have been a 14-year-old back then. And physically you were, but in the totality of who you were not. There was a split where your future self came into the shoes of that present self, and now in the future, that past self is coming into the shoes of the present self. And it's past the point of retrieving the inner child. The inner child is fully retrieved, and it's fully merged into the presence of the now moment where you are. So things like that might be happening. You might be noticing that aspects of you are now being fully brought back to life into the present moment, wherever you are in life. And equally so, you can go into the other dimension, into the other direction, into the other spectrum of going into the future and retrieving that future into the present moment, and going into the parallel lives and retrieving their activities into your present moment, realizing that all of it is you that is happening simultaneously across time, space, and individual expressions of you. All right. There was another energy that is still in the queue, waiting to get its turn. You know this feeling when you, let's say you have to give a speech, and there's a stage and people are giving a speech, and you know you're next. And this energy is like, it knows that it's next. I'm not gonna let it unexpressed, because it really wanted to come out. Infinity again. But it doesn't stop on this only. Okay. Goes outside of the frame. It appears big. Okay. But it can be put down into the one single point. Okay. All right. Before I start with this one, I want to say, I think it's needless to say, but I feel like I gotta say at the same time, and that is that I'm not a doctor, I'm not a therapist, I'm not a psychologist. I should have been, but here I am. So please use your discernment to listen to your intuition. This is a perspective that I'm offering to you. I'm describing an energy that I sense and I see and I interact with in the air that I'm opening up for you. If you need professional help with this, please seek it. I do not have all the technical terms of what is actually biologically happening inside of your body or inside of your psyche. If you need that, there are plenty of therapists and there are plenty of people who have exact terminology and they know how to guide you from A to B. I'm here artistically providing you a perspective. So the energy that I painted here is something that I see somebody naming it a burnout, calling it a burnout, explaining it to their friends as a burnout. And on the surface level, it is a burnout. And it is appropriate to speak about it as if it's a burnout. Because the deeper origin of this might even be considered in some outlines of the circles of people, might be inappropriate to bring out the origin. So I see conversations happening as I feel burned out, and then the conversations are happening in the lines of, I'm sorry, oh, my stomach is so loud, I didn't eat yet, I will. The conversation is happening in the lines of too much work, not enough sleep. Too much work, not enough fun. Too much work, not enough money. Too much work, not enough self-care. And while that is indeed an integral part of this energy, if you ground it down, if you look into your physical reality, you will realize that, yeah, that is not, it's undeniable. It's there. It's valid. But that is just a symptom of the origin. It's not the real reason of why your body feels exhausted. And in this exhaustion point, I've been channeling this energy a little bit in some of the previous readings, I don't remember which one. And that is where you have tasks to do, and they seem really big. But they're only really big as long as you're tired. And so when you go to rest and you come back after you sleep enough, after you eat enough, after you take care of yourself, you come back to those tasks and you realize that actually they were really not a big deal. But they seemed like enormously big deal. It might be as simple as having to go to the post office to pick up a parcel. It's a 10-minute activity. It's a no-brainer. It's really, you just gotta do it. There will be no harsh conversations. There will be no interrogations. There will be no shadow work. There will be nothing that you have to do except just move from the point A to the point B and come back to the point A. 10 minutes, that's all. But that could feel as if like you have to climb a mountain and you don't have energy for it. There are levels, and now I'm touching on this spectrum of what's going on in your body, where you are in fight-flight response, or maybe even completely skipping that part and going into the functional freeze, where you can do things but it's very difficult, or you can't do those things at all and you're in this so-called play dead state where all you can do is sleep, knowing that you have to go to the post office, but you can't because you have to sleep. All of that is not a problem in and of itself, it's a symptom. And now that symptom, another side note, the spectrum of the burnout that I look at is huge, is like a huge one black circle, of which I am right now describing and relating to only one fraction of it. So what I'm speaking is not all sides fit all, and what I am pointing as the origin is not the origin for absolutely everybody. To some this might be the truth, but to some it might not be in their landscape of reality. So to those that it does apply, the origin is that this exhaustion actually comes from your soul expanded in a way that your physical environment, your habits, your mindsets, what is normalized for your experience, your environment, maybe your circle of people, your profession, your workplace, your location at Earth, is not allowing the fullness of who you are as a soul to be grounded down. It's like you outgrew the clothes or your shoes and you can't wear them anymore, and now it hurts you. And so you try wearing the same shoes again and again, but they are too small for you. And it's the too smallness of your shoes that is hurting and exhausting you. Now I'm hearing also the change is not painful, the resistance to change is painful. So what's actually making you exhausted is either not allowing the fullness of yourself to ground itself in for it appropriate way, by creating new circumstances, choosing new people, choosing new professions, choosing new outlets of expression, choosing new places to live that are more in resonance and aligned with who you are now, as opposed to who you were ages ago when you made decisions that brought you into the space where you are now physically. It's either that or fear of falling back down into it, because there's also this trajectory or collective of people where I see the lifelong history of being accustomed to the workplaces, to the mindsets, to the certain activities, as if that's all that is. And now something happened and allowed you to experience the fullness of who you are, but your body is not trained to trust and to feel safe with the openness of life that is now available to you. So your body is expecting the worst, because that's how it has been trained before, to go back into the same old, to find comfort in what used to be uncomfortable. And you're at the point where you know that you have a choice, and that the same old might not have to repeat itself. You know that it doesn't have to. You're not chained to it. You're not bound to it. You know that you have a choice. But your body needs a little bit of adjustment. The relief from that energy I found in, first of all, calling it for its name, not mislabeling it for the surface symptoms that are presenting themselves, but really seeing what exactly do you fear. You might be fearing minimizing yourself. You might be fearing filtering yourself. You might be fearing having to reduct yourself in order to be aligned with those mini spaces that were there for you. You might be even afraid of erasing yourself, where you previously have had to erase yourself in order to fit in. And you fear erasure of yourself. This is big and heavy because it shows me that it's kind of like an existential fear. And it's also in the spectrum to some people. This might not be for everybody, but to some people it's very deep and heavy and existential and really important. Sorry for the noise, I have neighbors. But it's also invisible to others. So people you come in contact with, they will mostly not see this process happening within you. You might be even completely unseen, unrecognized, and mislabeled as like, oh, you're white, you're privileged, it's easy for you. But they don't see that inside there is an existential fear. There is a fear of you having to erase yourself for the survival. There's a fear of you not being allowed to exist and not being seen as who you fully are. Not being approved, not being confirmed, not being allowed to live as who you fully are. I hear the baby crying from my neighbors. And that's exactly how this energy feels. It's like a baby crying. It tells me that this energy is very, very deeply rooted. It's above and beyond your identity. It's primordial. And so the relief I found from it is, first of all, seeing it for what it is. Because this energy wants to be seen and understood. And just by it being recognized for what it is, half of the weight of the heaviness that it presents itself with is gone. And another part of the relief is the physical application of that relief, which is allowing your body to be felt. Having like a 5-minute breaks that you promise to yourself, that you devote to yourself, that you commit to yourself, that when you feel your body being overburdened, give yourself the utmost priority to add 5-minute long breaks where you just sit. Don't scroll the phone. Don't talk to anybody. Just feel the body. Feel whatever it wants to tell you. And don't try to calm it down. Don't try to fix it. Just let it be felt. Like it equally as this energy wants to be seen for what it is rather than for the symptoms, your body also wants to be witnessed for what it is. I think that's it. I could go on, but I really want to go out for a walk. And I really do recommend playing the game Superliminal, because if this painting, if this energy's found you at this point in time and it resonates with you, then the game resonates with you too. and it will provide you so much of the playground to really match the life that is happening inside of you with the exterior of the game. Thoughts, patterns, behaviors that are intrinsic to your sense of self, to your structure of being, playing out in the game. To some it might be more so than to others, but I really do think that the game is a really nice playground for externalizing your own internal processes. It's a metaphor for what is happening inside of you. That all being said, thank you for being here.